House of the Dragon, episode 6. So in this episode we got the time jump. It's a decade later. We've got new actresses portraying Rhaenyra and Alison. They both now have 3 kids and they both have a hatred for each other. The jump was always going to be a bit tricky. You know, it feels like a bit of a reset, honestly. And on top of that, it's almost like we've got to learn to love these characters again. And not necessarily love, but just learn to care for them in a certain way and understand them all over again, just because they are different actresses. I think this applies to Rhaenyra especially, who was so captivating when being played by Millie. It doesn't quite feel like Rhaenyra here, even more so when most other characters are still being portrayed by the same cast, such as the King or, you know, the head of the King's Guard. It all feels just a little bit different and disconnected there. I understand it. This is a story that spans a few decades, and those first 5 episodes were really covering Rhaenyra and Alison as teenagers, you know, when they're really sort of growing up to be adults. And now we're at a stage where they're both mothers, so they did have to make that jump because I guess nothing in between that point was too important. It was just them having children. You know, I'm hoping it's just a case of once we've seen another episode with them, maybe another 2 episodes, we then start to root for them again. And as there's going to be a second season, these are the actresses of these characters that we're going to be with long term. So, you know, I imagine we are going to, you know, end up rooting for them again. But I think I'm in the same boat with a lot of other people where they really did sort of get attached to the portrayals for young Alison and young Rhaenyra, so it's just kind of about redoing that again. But of course the main drama falls upon the fact that Rhaenyra's children are clearly not from her husband Laenor, but from Harwin Strong, who is the son of the Hand. Now this is creating some new tensions, you know, maybe the realm, you know, in between these 10 years has kind of been peaceful enough, but now you've got these rumours going around that are obviously true, and it's just causing a bit of a tricky dynamic. It's clear for all to see Viserys is refusing to see it, whereas Alison is kind of pushing for him to see it and wants something done about it, even though she won't put it in so many words. It's clear her anger is really getting to her here, because she can't stand the fact that Rhaenyra would have a bastard son as the heir to the throne. This episode was again setting things in motion as Daemon loses his wife in a very dramatic, suicidal fashion. Of course, I kind of had to look into why she did that afterwards, because I was kind of a bit lost, but ultimately she was in a position where she was going to die regardless, so she wanted to go out the Valyrian way, you know, with her own dragon doing it. And I kind of like how the dragon was like hesitating, didn't want to do it, but ultimately did do it in the end. And her dragon looks really fucking cool as well. It's humongous. And I'm pretty sure the Hand is dead as well. You don't really see him burn, but you know his son, you know, the father of Rhaenyra's children, is dead. I'm assuming the Hand is dead as well. And the fact that that was orchestrated by another one of the Hand's son, Larys Strong, I believe it is. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. But, you know, that guy is playing the game. He's playing the Game of Thrones, and now Alison is very much involved in it. Rhaenyra not being present in King's Landing, of course, as she just decides to leave at the end and go to Dragonstone, is worrying for me, because I want her sat on that throne, and I just feel her away from King's Landing. It removes an obstacle for Alison, who is quite, at least for me, dislikable now. You know, she's much like her father, but kind of more vocal, and she's got more animosity in her, and, you know, you feel like she's really going to try and dig away at the king and try and influence him and try and make things go how she wants them to, and with Rhaenyra not there, you know, that could cause problems. There's not a huge amount to say here. The time jump does feel like a reset, but it was still a solid episode, and I can only see it improving from this point, with tensions and rivalries heating up once more. Now we've got new problems, new issues, and, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where that all leads to. And, you know, you feel like some explosive stuff is going to come in the next 4 episodes, you know, to finish off this season. I think today's episode was probably the weakest, just because it had to restart in a sense. So I would give it an 8 out of 10, but it's still great television, and I was still captivated from start to finish. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.